Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, out on another exploration. It's lambing time. It's that time of the year when the spring is here and everything's coming into bloom and babies are being born, and more specifically, lambs. I'm in Kent. I'm somewhere just outside Biddenden, and I'm with the very one and only Adrian Lidget. Hello, Adrian.
Good morning, Richard.
And you're going to be my guide.
Yes, indeed.
This isn't your farm.
No.
But it's a friend of yours, and we're just going to go and have a look at lambing time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, let's go.
Let's
it's a bit cold today, but
it is a bit cold.
Hey ho.
Lambs don't seem to mind that.
They don't bother. No.
That's good. So this time of year, we're filming in April, and it's happening all over the country. Lambs are being born.
Yes.
The farm we're on today has quite a lot of lambs.
Yes, about 200, I believe, at the moment so far, and still lambing now. We're just coming into the yard here where we've got some store sheep this side. Now they're last year's lambs that will be sold very shortly. They're going to market shortly.
So you call them store sheep?
Store sheep,
Store sheep, because you're storing them till you're
we
ready.
store them till they get bigger and fatter.
Right. So they're after a year. That's when they get sold.
That's right. Yeah. There's a couple of 2 or 3 or 4 young cattle at the back there.
Oh yeah, very small. What sort of calves are they?
They're Angus cross beef calves.
Oh right, okay.
And they'll be reared on for a year or so on the lovely green pasture in Kent.
Yes, and it's looking very green at the moment.
We've got some young sheep here with ewes. They're tegs, what we call tegs. They're first year lambers. That's the first time they've lambed.
So the lambs that the sheep themselves or the ewes themselves are a year old.
Yep, that's right.
And
well,
so
just over a year.
Just over a year,
yeah.
and they've lambed.
And
so
that's their first lambs.
So it's a complete new experience for them as well.
Yes, indeed.
As well as the
for
lambs.
all of us. Usually.
And you see, now I mentioned this off camera. I used to be a great Archers fan on the radio. I'm not anymore, but the image that you always get is that they're always struggling pulling these lambs out. But the lambs most of the time manage to give birth quite happily on their own.
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
It's usually in the middle of the night when you get the ones that don't want to lamb properly.
Right. And how would you know?
And it's raining.
Yes.
It's always raining.
Freezing cold, rain, there's a hole in the roof.
Yeah,
don't tell
that's
me.
right.
And it's right at the back.
Yeah, and they're running around loose in the field somewhere.
Every worst nightmare you can think of.
But you can tell they start to give birth. The back ends, the udder swells, and the vulva expands, and they start to get uncomfortable. They wander around, they're restless, up and down, sitting up, standing. And you know that things are starting to happen then.
Yes.
From that, you proceed to what we call a water bubble. Comes out the vulva, and that's the start of the birth process.
Is that like the water's breaking on a?
That's the water bag.
Right.
Yeah. Similar to humans, exactly the same as humans. And then normally, if everything's proceeding normally, they will find a little corner somewhere and lay down quietly on their own, preferably. And
I see. So they give birth lying down.
Usually, yes.
Okay.
Because they strain, they will lay down, and their legs, their back legs, will start to strain as they push the lamb out, and the bag will get bigger. It will eventually burst, and then shortly after that, if everything's going well, you will see 2 feet appear, just the tips of the hooves.
So unlike a human birth where you usually want the head, it's the 2 front legs?
2 front legs, hopefully it's 2 front legs. Sometimes it's 2 back legs, which makes things awkward and a bit complicated. But no, 2 front legs, and then as they come out, the nose will appear between those 2 legs, and it dives out.
Oh,
and
wow.
That's the ideal way of doing it.
Yes.
And
they
don't necessarily know that.
some instinct must be present there.
Yeah.
And unlike humans, of course, they can stand pretty much instantly.
Fairly quickly. The quicker the better, really.
Right.
Because they get the circulation going. The mothers will mother them. They will lick them dry.
Yes.
And take all the muck off them. And then within 5 or 10 minutes, they start to suckle. they look for the udder.
Yes.
And once they've suckled, they're away.
That's it.
Normally, that's all. All the problems are over. Well, the next set of problems start.
Yes. But, and I mean, it's amazing because when you look at them, they're all born completely with their fur. They don't have to wait for their fur to grow. So that's growing
right.
on the inside
Yeah.
whilst they're in the womb, presumably.
Yeah.
And I noticed when we arrived here, the Michael, the farmer, said he's had mainly singles this time. And
That's right.
And I asked a fairly naive question. Is that not the case then?
No, regularly they have twins. They're born with twins. Sometimes quads are born, and triplets. Obviously, the ewes only have 2 teats, so they can really only suckle 2 lambs comfortably.
Right.
But I've had some sheep that have reared triplets themselves, just on the 2 teats.
Somehow alternate.
The
feed.
Yeah,
get off you.
Yeah, it depends how good the ewe is. And
right.
She, if you've got a good ewe, she'll usually make sure that she's got, the lambs all together, and they will tell them now's the time to feed, and you haven't fed, so
right.
it's your turn.
Well, they've obviously got enough intelligence to be able to reproduce.
Pretty stupid animals, but they know what they're doing.
Yes, when it comes to it. You've got more in this pen.
Yeah,
We're going to have a look at those.
There's some here that are due to lamb shortly. These ones here. And in fact, one lamb just as we came in, and she's in the pen there with her newborn lamb. We've separated her off because we don't want to confuse the others. They'll think that's their lamb.
Yes, and does that happen?
It can happen. And a ewe who's expecting a lamb to be born will think that it's their lamb, and they'll mother it until they have their own lamb, and then they'll abandon the other one. And by that time, the proper mum has lost interest in it.
Yes,
and you see, she's now licking that one, and it's underneath her, looking for a teat for its first drink of colostrum. They have a special liquid in the udder called colostrum, which is
before the milk comes in.
It contains all the antibodies that lamb will need, and they must have that within the first hour.
Oh, right. Yes. So I guess the farmer then is constantly. You've got your eye on to make sure
the lamb
they're
is
on the
up
teat
and doing what it's supposed to do. See, that's fine. She's happy with that now. She's eating a bit. She's looking after her lamb. Her lamb's suckling, and
how do they know that their lambs apart when they start springing around? To the human eye, they all look very cute and they all look very similar.
Yeah, the mothers have a call that the lamb will recognise. The lamb has a call which the mother will recognise.
Unique to themselves.
And it is unique to each lamb and each ewe, and they will recognise their own mother's call. They also have a smell, and they can smell them, so they know instantly where their lamb is.
Yes.
And they will also know, when they're out in the field, they will know where their lamb is.
Right.
They might leave it over in the hedge somewhere.
Oh, right.
They know where it is, yeah. And it's the same with cattle. They will leave their calf somewhere. When it's a newborn calf, they will leave it somewhere.
And why do they leave them?
Well, but they go off to graze.
I see. But they're just constantly aware.
They know exactly where that animal is.
Yeah.
You won't be able to see it.
No, but they know.
They know.
They know, yes.
Yeah. And they can do it by sound and smell.
Yes.
But you can see the afterbirth coming out there.
I'd rather not.
Put you off your lamb dinner, will it?
Well, that is a bit of an irony that lovely Joe, who's sort of organised this, is cooking lamb for lunch.
See, all these are in lamb. As you can see, they've all got udders, and they're all looking comfortable, sat down. These are all out in the sunshine, which is the best place for them.
And then they're starting to feed on grass.
Well, it'll be a while before the lambs start feeding on grass,
right.
But they will start doing what their mums do.
Yes.
And they will start sniffing the grass and having a poke round and see what's what. But you see that mother there has just called her 2 lambs.
Oh yes, in the distance there, and there they go, charging over.
Yeah, they'll go and have a feed now. There you go.
Gosh.
Underneath.
And it gives the mother a bit of a break when she goes off to graze, I imagine.
Well,
the trouble is,
when they get bigger, they will lift the back end of the ewe off the ground. going for the milk.
Well, it's wonderful. And how long is the lambing season?
It's usually only about a month to 6 weeks, if if everything's as it should be.
Brilliant. Well, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. Join me again. I'm going to be looking at some beautiful cows next.
Dairy cows next.
Some dairy cows next, yes. So join me on that one. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Richard.
And thank you to Michael, who's not here, but his farm that
he's off.
He's
lambing
off
somewhere.
somewhere, yeah. And I'll see you then. Bye for now.
Bye.